So the internet says I've ruined my brakes. Have I? Well, let's find out. Right, so if you saw my previous video when I bedded in my endless brake pads, you'll notice that I caught them on fire. Discs were glowing red hot. So a lot of you commented. I say a lot, I had a couple of comments, some other comments from Facebook groups when I shared the video. People saying I've ruined the discs, 100% warped, things like that. So in this video we're going to find out exactly if you were right. But let me show you some of the comments I've had on YouTube, and then we'll go and examine the brakes. Right, so I'm going to show you some of the comments. Now, don't be offended if I like you a comment. I ain't got a problem. People are welcome to their opinion, but we'll have a look at them and then see what you think. So this one from Ivan Shingler. He says, I don't think breaking in brakes, I think he means bedding, are done like that. They'd be knackered for sure. Hot spotting them discs like that will destroy them. Fair point. We'll find out. The other one, Stuart says, to bed them in, you just really should drive them normally for 1,000 miles or so. So I can answer that one by saying that that's road pads. When you're talking about a race pad, it's completely different. The way you bed a race pad is nothing like a road pad, so don't confuse the two. So then we got Stacy says, cooked alive, never have I seen that before. I'm absolutely gobsmacked. I just bed mine in normal road use for 1,000 miles. Well, I just answered that. And then I do not recommend this way of bedding in at all. Bad thing totally. So like I say, don't confuse them with a road pad. We're not talking about the same things here. This one's a nice one from Stu. How to warp your discs 101. So that's something that I can't absolutely tell you whether I've warped them or not. We're going to find out, and I'll explain why I can't tell you from driving whether I've warped the discs or not. Right, so that's just a couple of things we'll address. What I will explain to you now is, I've covered this in a video before. If you warp your discs on these, when your caliper is a floating caliper, it can actually slide on the sliders. So you can have a warped disc. The disc can be warping back and forth. This will move back and forth, and you won't actually get that pedal pulse because it's not actually pushing the piston of the caliper in and out to give you that judder in your pedal. So this style of caliper totally disguises that. If it's severely warped, then yeah, you'll probably start to feel it, but in my experience they can be considerably warped and you won't have a clue when driving. So the first thing I'm going to do is test to see if they're warped. Right, so what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to jam a screwdriver in this side, in there, so that wheel won't spin. Right, so over this side then, I'm going to run the engine, put it in gear, and then only this side will spin because I've got a limited slip diff. We've stopped that side from spinning, and then we'll monitor if there's any movement in the disc. You need to put your wheel nuts on so that the discs are all tight, so that's what we'll do now, start them up. Right, so here we have it. If you look at the caliper, there is absolutely zero movement in that. If you look at the disc, it will give an illusion point of some movement, but it's because of the cutouts on it. If you look at into the pad area, you see there's absolutely no movement whatsoever. Now, I'm sure people will comment and say, oh yeah, but if we put a DTI gauge on it, then it might be more. But then, that's really being picky, that is. I mean, let's be honest. They'd only pageant this when you look at parts. It could just as well be out of fraction from brand new. So we're only going to analyse it from what we can see here. But that one is absolutely true and perfect. Not even the slightest movement in the slider there. So this side's perfectly fine. let's go and check out the other side. What they're doing now is bang it into neutral. Should just come straight out without the clutch. There you are. Right. So what we'll do now, swap screwdriver from that side to this side, and then we'll go and check the other side. Spin the wheel over. So as you can see now, that side is locked, it can't spin, so all the power then goes to this side. Right, so let's have a look. Right, this is also looking perfect to me. Can't see any movement in the pads. The outer caliper is not moving back and forth. Looks perfect, absolutely perfect. So I'm gonna say I'm happy with that. Right, so I'm calling that a good result. Nothing to worry about on the discs. As for warping, what we're going to look at now is the condition of the discs. So the first thing I'll point out is the pad isn't really contacting the lower centimetre like I want it to, so that could be a case if it just needs a bit more bedding, not sitting fully flush. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to be pulling the pads out in a moment. Right, first thing I want to check actually is any fire damage to the seals, and that is looking perfect, that one there. Should get them up there somewhere. Right, and the slider seals, everything's moving free, no signs of burning. Actually there might, oh, we got a rip one. I got a spare one of them, so I'll be changing that. But no, all looks fine, nothing untoward there. So I'm going to get the pads out now and take a look at them. Right, so that's the inside pad. Now I'm no pad expert, but that doesn't look to have any signs of glazing. Few small spots, but in the main I think that looks pretty good. Yep, I think that looks good. You can actually see the where it's burnt. Look, and it's actually the paint. Looks like the paint layer of what actually caught fire. Right. Right, so looking at this one, I can see a section that looks a bit glazed just through here. You can also see at the bottom there where it's not fully contacting, most of the pressure seems to be on the top. So I'm going to check that for measurement and trueness now. But overall that looks pretty good. I will clean up that glazing and then we will chuck them back in. Right, so I'm just looking at this pad now to see how true and flat it is. I'll try to put the light so you can see. Let me try and get the right angle on this. I don't know if you can tell, but right at the edge where it's not contacting the disc, this area, it's not perfectly flat. I don't know whether that's showing up for you or not, but the pad just falls away a touch. So the reason I'm not using that section, it's still not fully bedded in to the shape, so that shouldn't take too long. But what I am going to do, that tiny bit of glazing, I'm probably just going to run a slight little bit of sandpaper over the pad, not much, and just try and clean him up a little bit. Right, so what I've got here is a little bit of 320 grit sandpaper on a flat bit of steel, and I'm just going to give it a little rub over. Right, so that's that. That's cleaned the pad up. There's still slight signs of it in a little bit of area, but to be honest with you, I'm not going to go too mad because I don't want to waste my pads on sandpaper. So that's just had a very light sanding. Now I'm just going to go back in. Right, so I've got a new dust cover. Well, I say new, it's off another set of calipers. So I'm going to swap him over. Right, onto the passenger side. We can inspect everything exactly the same, and the dust seal on there is fine. I can see a tiny little bit of bubbles there, but it's hardly anything. I actually see where the paint is burnt on the pad, and that's all it is really. The sliders here on the sleeves, or the covers, seals, whatever, they're perfectly fine. So just the pads to take a look at now. Right, so kind of the same with this one, mostly fine. Tiny bit of a glazing streak through the middle. Well, it's hardly anything really. I mean, if I put you at that angle, I could put that straight back on, I think. No worries. We will give it a little clean though, but let's have a look at the other one. Pretty much the same there. Tiny glazed streak through there. So overall, nothing much to worry about. So let's go and tidy these two pads up on the sandpaper then. Right, so I finished cleaning these up to a point that I'm happy with. Slight line through the middle. Like I say, they'll sort themselves out on the car. The other thing worth pointing out that I hadn't mentioned before was in the instructions for endless, it tells you that they're good over 700 degrees C. It says over 800 you will get overheating problems. So I measured the disc temp, was it 450, say it lost 100 degrees from the time we got out the car, which it probably hadn't. We were nowhere near 800 degrees, so I don't know what you're fretting about, boys, man. Stop stressing. Read some of the comments, and people are pointing out maybe some negatives. Puts thoughts in my mind. People saying, "Oh, I've walked the discs," and yeah, I am gonna look into it because you've started to make me think have I messed them up. So in reality, you benefited me by making me go and check it out. So anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. That is the end. I'm going to get on with some other jobs now, but stay tuned. I'll see you in the next video. So thank you everyone. Please comment as usual. See you on the next one. Bye.